Okay. Thank you, Lord. Okay, we are set. Any questions? Any revelations? Any ideas so far? The floor is open. Anybody with a question? Dr. Boyson?
Not yet.
Winnie, do you have any question?
No, I don't have any question.
Really, make up one. Make up one.
No, we have to get into the text first again, and then I'll come up with a question.
Okay. Gabo, any questions so far?
But I'm driving, so when I get home, then as the thing goes on, I'll
Okay. Okay.
especially concerning the hemorrhage. Some translation says it's hemorrhage, some says plague and everything. So later I'll ask questions.
Okay.
So Pista was wrong, was right. The other day she was saying it was hemorrhage.
Okay.
I think she was right. I thought it was only plague. But I went through so many translations. Some say hemorrhage. I went through all the synoptic gospels, the different. So I have a lot of questions. So let's go.
Okay. Okay. So far, so good. Today, what I want us to do, we will look at the type of writing this is, so we could try to divine what the goals of the author would be. Mind you, we said the Bible is not only a book of for spiritual instruction, but it is also a book for mental development. And so we are going to probe both ends, especially trying to understand things from the craft of writing, how this author has shaped the text. And so far, so today we are going to learn about text structures, how using text structures will help you to understand what the author is doing, the patterns of exposition that the author is employing to carry his message across. So, as the first thing to do, we'll go back to the text and then we'll look at each verse and try to identify the text structure that is involved there. Mind you, more than one text structure can be employed by an author to expose his or her text. So the same verse could have multiple text structures used, or one could identify multiple text structures. By the way, we are going to deal with the 6 main ones: description, problem and solution, cause and effect, compare and contrast, argument, and then time order. 6 of them: time order, argument, cause and effect 3, problem and solution 4, compare and contrast 5, and then description 6. We'll look at them. So let's look at the text. And a certain woman, that's Mark chapter 5, from verse 25 to 34. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse, when she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind and touched his garment. For she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press and said, who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, who touched me? And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace and be whole of thy plague. Amen.
Amen.
Interesting. Now, first question, let's go to verse 25. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years, and a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years. What type of text structure would that be? A certain woman had an issue of blood for 12 years. What sort of text structure would that be?
I think it's describing the woman. Can it be descriptive?
So that's a description. I agree with you. Winnie, do you agree?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Now, for us to get why it is important, right? The text, description actually tells us a lot about the object being described, right? But when an author uses description, I want you to understand the author wants to affect our creativity. Why do you think so?
So we create a visual of the person in our mind.
Yeah, because description compels visual imaging of the object or event or situation being described. So you paint pictures with your mind, right? When description is employed. So when Mark gives us the description of this woman, you will realize that immediately you painted a picture of this woman. True or false?
True.
Okay. So we have to understand why an author will choose description, right? One of it is to foster creativity in you. Okay. Which other text structure would you say we can use to describe verse 25? Which other text structure?
25.
Can it be problem and solution?
So problem and solution. Thank you. So what will be the problem?
The woman had an issue of blood. So she
That-
had an infirmity
But the way you
for 12 years. Oh,
the way you've put it, that will be description. But you said this is a problem and solution, right? So we are identifying true, but this introduces the problem. What was the problem?
the issue of
So,
blood.
no, not the issue of blood, but she's had it for 12 years and there was no cure.
Yes, I agree. Winnie, you also said what?
I said the issue of blood.
Yes, that's true. That's true. The issue of blood. But I like Q. I think you have something going for you there because for 12 years she had this issue, and we don't know why it had festered for this long. So yes.
Yeah, I think it's a more than well. First, she has the issue of blood,
Okay.
irrespective of the number of years. That's a problem, and then the length of time to makes it double jeopardy.
Okay. Okay. So we agree. The issue, the problem is related to blood, right? And what compounds it is that it's been there for a long time. So I would agree. But that only identifies the problem. Do you realize it? It doesn't talk about the solution. Is that making clear? I mean, is that clear? This only introduces us to the problem, but not the solution. The solution will come later, right? But we can say the whole writing actually can be described as a problem and solution text. Okay, now let's go to verse 26. And I suffered many things of many physicians, and I spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse. What
Pastor
sort of,
Kwan, please, can you go over the types of this? And let me write. I mean,
okay,
so one was descriptive.
description,
Uh-huh.
time, order,
Okay.
problem, solution, cause and effect, compare and contrast, and then argument.
Okay. All right. Thanks. All right.
Okay. So we want to identify verse 26. And had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse. What sort of what text structure would that be?
I think that still also gives a description. I mean, it's still telling us.
Okay, description about the situation. Okay.
Yeah, because it doesn't mention any timeline there. There's a problem, but no solution. I mean, it mentions problem, but no solution. Or we can just add a solution, I mean, problem to it. Still talking about the problem.
Yeah, but still problem because the doctors couldn't actually help her.
Give
And
any treatment.
right? They rather worsen the situation. So yes, it will be part of the problem and the solution. So, but that portion also introduces us to the additional dimension of the problem, right? So it's not only time involved, right? But the call it the people who were supposed to be the ones with the solution didn't help it. They rather compounded the problem, right? Not only did they compound the problem physiologically because she grew worse, but they also took her money.
This count here.
So we are still dealing with the problem and the solution, right? So now we realize that the problem was not only a question of the issue of blood. We are now seeing additional dimension of the problem, right? The additional dimension of the problem was that the doctors couldn't help pay, but they also took her money.
Well, they took the money. with the,
So you realize that physiological ruin and financial ruin, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Once you understand, so you would now understand the sort of a solution that will be needed to make this woman whole. Are you not getting the picture, Craig? Winnie, are you appreciating the way the dimension of the problem now?
Yeah, I definitely agree that it is a very complex issue because it seems as if her condition engulfed her whole life.
Okay, so let's again try to enumerate the problem, right? She had the blood issue. She had it for so long. 2, she went to doctors who couldn't help her. 3, the doctors rather worsened the situation. 4, 5, the doctors took money from her, right? And the Bible says she has spent all that she had. So
when Mark says the doctors worsen her situation, how is that possible? How did they worsen her situation?
because Mark said, but rather grew worse. She rather grew worse.
So it's not that the doctors worsened her situation because they couldn't heal her. She naturally grew worse.
Well,
Yeah, so, yeah, it's not like the doctors were trying to help. I'm sure. I mean, I know they've all sworn the hypocritical oath that will save life, will help. So maybe they didn't have the right medication. They were trying, or I mean, they are scamming doctors around. But I think they, in their way, tried to help, but the help wasn't enough. I mean,
Right. But
that,
there are also some conditions where it's progressively can progressively get worse over time if it's not treated.
okay, but what the essence of what we are doing is we've now identified that it wasn't just the problem of the issue of blood, but the other things that compound the problem, right? Those other things are based on the fact that she went to the solution carriers, which will be the doctors, and not 1, probably not 2, probably not 3, right? And they couldn't help her. But each time she went, she had to pay. Are you getting it? Yes, so now we realize. Go ahead.
The sickness or the disease had a spiritual connotation. That's why the doctors could not heal her physically.
For now, I
Because-
mean, the Mark has not hinted us about that, the spiritual side, which we know because we will. I mean, if we read the Levitical sanctions, we will know that something else was going. But for now, the way Mark has presented it, he hasn't given us any information about the spiritual side. Are you getting me? So yes, we know it's at the back of our minds. But what we are doing now is trying to identify the type of text, right? And be able now to appreciate it from that angle. And then we will gain a certain understanding that the average person will not have just by reading it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so again, issue of blood for 12 years, visiting doctors, the doctors could not help her. She rather was going worse, and then she had also spent all her money on the doctors, right? So again, let's look at it. There was physiological ruin. there was financial ruin and maybe emotional ruin too. Are we getting the picture?
Yeah, those are all big. Yeah.
So
And
that
then stigmatization too. She's been stigmatized. I mean,
most likely. And the reason this is important is you now should understand that the solution must take care of all these things we've identified. Are you not getting why it's important to do this? If we are talking, if we say that this is a problem and solution type of writing, then by the end of this account, this woman must have a solution to each of the problems we've identified. Are you not getting the picture clear? Is that making sense?
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you will now understand that Mark was actually setting up the contest, or call it the canvas, in such a way that we would understand the task involved and why Jesus will be the one who could do or who could provide the sort of answer this woman was looking for. Are you getting me? Because
So, Pastor Fong, is this thing normal? Has there been anybody in this world that has gone through this problem before?
so people go through that.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Bleeding for 12 years?
Plenty. There's people don't talk, but people are going through stuff. I mean, I can tell you as a pastor, right? Somebody has confided in me, right? That she actually experienced this woman's problem.
Really?
Yes. That person, the way she described, she said one day she had returned from work, right? And she was going through some serious stuff with the husband. The husband had almost moved out and had gone to live with another woman.
Side chick.
And they were back and forth. And she returned from work and she realized that she opened the door, she went in, and it's like she saw an object or whatever going around the room, and it's as if it went down around the room and then entered, first hit there, and entered into her. From that moment, she started bleeding. 8 years. This then she said, Pastor Akron, I will go to work and change pad about 8 times.
Oh.
So yes, people do go through this. You getting me? I only gave you this for you to know. Yes, people do. People do. And don't forget, we've studied, I mean, as part of this Bible study, we've made clear that this is not a test about what happened, but a test about what? What happens. You remember that? Dr. Boyson?
Yeah, yes.
We said the Bible is experiential writing. It's not about historical writing, right, necessarily. It's not about what happened, but what happens in life. Are you getting me? It really does. And no wonder Brother Gabo, you said this thing really, you can see it in the hospital setting, right? Gabo. Okay.
So, Pastor, let me ask you a quick question. So, this person that you just referenced to, was she within the 5 or 8 years that she had this issue? Was she getting blood transfusion or just dealing with it?
I'd rather not go in.
No, I'm asking because I mean I work with this firm that I inspect, so trying to find how she will look like after 5 years of going through this problem. I mean, was he emaciated? I mean, I'm just trying to reflect on this woman's issue for 12 years. I mean, how she would look like, and you know.
Yeah. I mean, this woman was in pretty bad shape.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty bad shape. Right. And it's
Because
just
blood is life. So if you are losing what is life, then I
she
wonder.
said, Pastor Kron, I was drinking blood tonic like crazy. You getting me? And so, yes, these things happen. It happens, right? Okay, so let's move on. Now let's come to verse 27. When she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind and touched his garment, for she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. What sort of text structure is that?
So I will say this time order. Time order is part of it because of the word when.
Okay, yes, I will agree with time order, but identify all of them.
And there's
Cause
a
and effect.
solution too.
Cause and effect.
Yes, cause and effect is there, but we'll take them
Yes.
one by one. Somebody said time order, which I agree, but I want you to identify the time order involved.
Yeah, that's why I said the time and when. The word when she
Yeah,
heard.
but that when only gives you a clue, but the whole thing when only tells you time, but it doesn't give you the order.
And as soon as she heard, she came in and touched. So
Okay,
that's
so
solution to right there. That's solution.
which one came first? No, we are dealing with time order. Which one came first?
So she heard first, she hears, and then she
Okay,
moves.
then the second. The second.
And then second, I think we need to mention cause and
No,
effect.
no. I said call time and order. Time order. So
Okay.
we've seen she heard. What is the
Okay.
next one?
She moved.
No.
She
Oh yeah.
moved and went
She
to touch
came in the press behind.
and
So
touched.
that's the second. And then the third is what?
The touching.
Touch his garment. So this is how an author wants you to see the sequence of events. And it is important because if you don't follow the sequence, it is easy to mix things up and it will not paint the sort of picture the author is trying to put on the canvas. Are you getting the picture clear? So yes, she heard and then came and then touched. Right? Now, when you add it to verse 28, you take 27 and 28 together, what? Winnie,
Yeah.
you said cause and effect. Can you explain it further? Can you
Yeah,
explain
the
further
cause
why
is
is cause and effect?
the cause is she should touch in the hem of his garment, and the effect will be that she'll be made whole.
But the as of 27 and 28, we haven't seen the effect. We've only seen the cause, right? Because she heard, she came, she touched. We don't know of what happened.
But she said in 28, if I
Yes,
may touch his clothes, I
she
shall
only
be whole.
said it. She said it, but it hadn't happened.
But she said it declaratively that I shall be whole.
Declaring does not it's not equivalent of the thing happening. So
True.
there is cause. The cause is she touched, but what is the effect?
Are we
She got
talking about 28?
27. You actually, when you say cause and effect, you is 27. When you add 28, it is more than cause and effect.
I mean, the effect is that after touching, she receives a healing.
Okay, but it's not, the healing does not take place in 27 or 28.
So then in 27, the cause would be she heard of Jesus, and the effect was that she touched his garment.
No, the cause will be more than she heard. Read 27 again.
When she
But
heard
Pastor
of
Kwan, you
Jesus.
realize that she actually she made a decision in 27. She made a decision to receive her healing before she went forward to actualize it.
Yes, but the cause is that he touched his garment. She heard, she came behind the press and she touched his garment. That would be the cause.
So if you look at it critically, 28 even comes before 27.
Yes, in actual fact, yes. Because 28 gives you what she said and what she did.
Yeah.
So 28 tells you about her resolution, and 27 tells you what she did based on her resolution. Winnie, are you following?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, but when you add 27 to 28 and you take them as one text, what sort of text structure would you identify that writing with?
I think 27, 20 all should be cause and effects. I mean, if you combine them.
It's more than it. Okay, cause and effect is one, but there is a one better than cause and effect there.
I mean, we've already mentioned the time order. If you combine 27 and 28,
Okay,
time order is already there.
Something more than time order.
It's definitely not an argument. Oh, let me
It's an
slow down.
argument. It is an argument.
Okay.
Yes, it is an argument. It's a conditional argument.
Yeah,
Right?
it's an yeah. Well, okay, yeah, I agree.
Okay. So what are the signal words, or what we call indicator words? Right? That will give us clues as to.
Yeah, if you look at the word may should be conditional.
May is more of a permissive language, but there are some key words there.
You have if.
We call them argument markers.
You have the if there, you have the may
The
there,
if,
you have the
if
shall.
will give you the conditional argument, conditional, but there
Okay.
is something there before the if that tells you, that
Four
gives
is
what
because
is the another synonym for
because
because is what we call a reason marker.
School, I mean it's like no.
No. Don't forget what this Bible study is about. Right?
You make sure you give your husband more kinky before he comes, because I'm gonna let our school work. I mean it's
No. It's absolutely important. Again, what we said is the Bible trains the mind. Are you getting me? And the reason I want us to look at this, because it's an argument, right? It involves logic. And logic actually helps the individual to cultivate critical thinking. Are you getting the picture clear? Critical thinking. And we'll spend a little time on the argument part, especially because it is a conditional argument. We want to understand why the author chose to present the woman's utterances, right? Because the woman actually was making a statement that took her to the realm of an argument. And when the author, Mark, right, presented that the woman's argument, he actually also wanted to present something that will force the mind to take a little pause, right? To think about what is happening, right? Don't forget, Jesus would later say, woman, it is your faith that has made you whole, right? But we are getting to understand that faith was rooted in what she actually said. Are you understanding? And it's like Mark was making the case that the woman did what she did. She came behind and touched Jesus's clothes because she made a resolution. Is that making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she came and touched Jesus's garment because she first made a resolution. So it is to show that when people deliberate about something and they decide to do something, you shouldn't be surprised when they do it, which actually takes away any argument for some sort of impulsive action or anything like, oh, reflexive action. It is out of the picture. This was a deliberate action that was taken because there was deliberation.
But the question is, could she have received her healing if after exhibiting all that faith, she was removed from Jesus?
Oh, it's something we are pursuing.
Because the faith was there, but without a powerhouse to draw from, you can have faith in some things, but it doesn't always happen.
But the point the author is making and we are pursuing is that the author is making the case that the woman came and touched Jesus's garment because he resolved to do so. Does it make sense?
I mean, what I'm saying is that she had the faith that if I touch this man has so much power, I will be healed. So that was what pushed her. But what I'm saying is that sometimes you can have faith in some things, but it's not everything that happens. Because right now I
Yeah,
can't say I
especially
have
when
faith. I have
you
faith
see.
that I'll go and buy a lotto ticket and
Okay,
scratch and I'll win 1 million.
okay, you see, there is a difference between knowledge and belief. Are you understanding? This woman, was it knowledge or was it belief that she exhibited? We don't know. But we will be able to determine as we go along whether it was belief or it was knowledge. Because look at the way she said. She said, if I may but touch his clothes, I shall be whole. So it's as if she was saying that if I don't get my wholeness, it is because of me, not the one who will grant it. If I do my part, the person who grants, he shall surely do his part. Are you understanding? Which is a way to show that Jesus is a sure banker, right? So if things don't work out for you, check yourself, don't check Jesus.
Yeah, I
Are
mean,
you
he's
getting
the powerhouse. Once you get in contact with him,
Yes,
even those who didn't have faith and he met them, he healed them. So
that
once
was
you have the faith in him that he can do it and you get close to him, duly, it will happen.
but Jesus also will get down to make, when she said, woman, it's your faith that has made you whole, right? The next question we ask, so what if this woman had not actually come with that resolution that she was going to get healed? She would have touched Jesus and nothing would have happened. Just as the disciples said, Jesus, can't you see people thronging you? Are you understanding? So it's as if just mere touching is not what cuts it. There must be something more than mere touching. because from what the disciples said, people were touching Jesus, but nobody was necessarily healed that we are told about, right? But this particular woman, she touched Jesus like everybody did, right? But her touching was different. And we are introduced to what informed her touching, that she made a resolution. And in that resolution, she actually said, hey, if I touch Jesus's clothes, it is a guarantee. Are you getting me? So her touching was different from the others. Jesus didn't complain when the people were thronging him. Jesus complained when the woman did her touching.
I mean, I can understand. I mean, if you have faith strongly in something, it kind of expedites stuff, because I remember back when I was teaching in one of these junior schools in Kaneshi, there was a time that one of my students said, "Oh, Pastor No is coming to a crusade near the school somewhere in Matayeko area." And I just prayed seriously. I said, "Lord, I'm going to this guy, boy has invited me. I'm going to this crusade. I want you to speak to me, say something to me through Pastor No." Seriously. I wasn't sure what I wanted to hear. But for some reason, close to the end of the program, Pastor No called. He gave a description. I went forward. And that's when you told me I was going to travel to the US, when I had no idea, because I was in GIJ school doing my journalism. I was enjoying life. And this man tells me I was going to come to the US. I said, what is this man talking about?
Okay.
And lo and behold, I got a green card. So sometimes when you have that edge, that you are trusting God for something, I mean, that propels and gets things to flow. So I can understand how this woman made that determination. I believe that for some reason, even if she hadn't had a chance to go closer to Jesus, by her resolution and the faith that could be fed, I believe some way, somehow, Jesus would have found a way. I'm believing that even with the woman standing in the remote corner or somewhere, with the resolution that she had made, I believe Jesus would have found a way to touch her.
But
I don't know whether she will call her or some means.
I agree with you, but you are not telling the story the author is telling. Now you are adding another. The story is that the woman said, I will touch. I will touch. And it is from the touching that I will receive my healing.
So if Peter had prevented her from touching, she wouldn't have been healed.
Well, because that's why the author has given us this little information taken directly from what the woman said. Right? So we are going to keep faith with what we've been given. Right? There is enough there to tease out a lot of facts without speculating.
I mean, the woman was bold, because, if you are talking about press and you are saying that you want to touch the hem of the garment.
Everything is there. And that's why we are doing what we are doing. Now you see, the text is opening up and we are seeing dimensions in it just by looking at the text structure involved. Right? And as I said, when you take 27 and 28 together, that exposes the mind, the faculty of this woman, because the author presents her utterance or utterances in the form of an argument. Are you getting the picture clear? And if you look at her choice of words, if I may, I shall. If I may, I shall. Right? And I shall is dependent on what somebody else will make happen to her. Yet, she said, if I do my part, I know that Jesus will do what I expect him to do. That must be so serious, right? But the question to ask is, did she get her wholeness when she touched Jesus' garment? Did she?
Yes.
Yes, she did.
No, she didn't.
I mean, she got what she asked for. That's
No,
what she wanted.
that was not what she said. We are going by what she said. What did she say she shall receive?
I shall be whole.
Okay.
And so,
Did she receive wholeness when she touched Jesus' clothes?
well, Bible says that the fountain of her issue was dried up, so maybe that's what she thought she had received.
No. Let's look at it. That's why it's important. The Bible said, and she felt that she had been healed in her, in fact, verse 29, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. Was it healing that she said was going to happen to her?
Yeah, but to her, that is what she wanted.
No. There are two things.
What does wholeness mean?
No. You will see that wholeness came later. And so
Well, that is Mark's way of describing it. But
pay attention to what the author has said. Right? Pay attention. She said, if I may but touch his clothes, I shall be whole. Shall be whole. I shall be whole. She could have said, I shall be healed. But she said, I shall be whole. They are two different things. Don't forget.
What I'm gathering is that
No.
she just expected to have the fountain of that thing stop and didn't have to go to any doctors anymore.
Don't forget, we took the trouble to enumerate the problem because we said the problem, this is a problem and solution type of writing, right? According to verse 5, verse 25, right? Verse 25, 26, right? We identified this as a problem and solution type of problem, writing, true or false?
I know, but Pastor, what I'm saying is that if she experiences the fountain of her blood dried up and
Yes.
she believes that she is healed of the plague, what else was she expecting?
Don't forget, healing, when this only took care of her physical state. But don't forget, we enumerated the problem. She had been financially ruined. She had been emotionally ruined. Are you getting the picture clear? So this healing only took care of the physiological thing that the doctors could not help her with. But what of her financial ruin? Did this?
Then she doesn't have to go to hospital anymore.
But she wasn't going to. Give me a minute. Roberta, please let me call you in about 20 minutes. I'm doing my Bible studies. I'll call you immediately. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Right? We took the trouble to enumerate all the problems, and we saw 5 of them. She had spent us the money she had, right? Agreed? Gabo, do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So her problem now was not just the plague, right? Because she could be healed and she wouldn't have food to eat. She wouldn't have clothes to wear, wouldn't have a place to lay her head. And all those things will be more than, so the healing would only take care of the physical aspect. But here, she is also dealing with some emotional baggage, financial baggage. And that's why I said, we did that so that we will get to know the sort of solution that will be needed to make her whole. Are we now getting the picture clear? So wholeness in this case is way more than the healing she received when he touched his garment. Winnie, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you make sense of what we are trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, I understand what Dr. Boyson was saying to that. You know, she declared something out of her mouth. And just because God initially gave her healing, like I don't think that she may have known what she was necessarily saying. Like I feel like we're assuming
Exactly,
that
exactly.
that she knew the difference between wholeness and healing. It could be possible that she knew, but I just don't want to make that assumption.
Well, what we are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she was even thinking about financial stuff. Although that's part, but to her, to get a fountain of a blood
Yeah,
cease
her
and she
wholeness
realized
was.
healing, because she
Mhm.
realized that if I get a
Dr.
fountain
Boyce,
stop and my
Dr.
healing is
Boyce,
gone, then I don't have to go back to the doctors and spend money.
but Dr. Boyson, what we are learning is paying the maximum fealty to a text.
Pastor, I can't understand exactly what you are saying, but I'm also thanks to Winnie for backing me up there, because to her, it's a matter of semantics. She was thinking, okay,
No,
if I touch this man
no,
and my menstrual thing ceases and I
no,
feel healed, that is wholeness to me.
no. You see, the author has put certain things there, and we want to be able to deal with the issues involved without cutting corners. Because we will see the wholeness pronounced by Jesus. She said, I will touch, if I may touch his clothes. You could touch his clothes without Jesus even getting to know, and she could have received her healing. Are you getting the picture clear? Because according to the disciples, people were trusting Jesus. But she touched, and she had said, if I touch, wholeness is what I will get. So are we trying to say wholeness is synonym? Is synonymous with healing? I'm saying.
No, what I'm saying is that we can't read the woman's mind as to what she actually
But she
meant.
has put her mind on paper.
That's what I'm saying. What she put on paper is not what we are thinking of. She said wholeness. To her, it's subjective. Wholeness means, okay, I'm menstruating every day throughout my 12 years.
No.
Wholeness means it
No.
stops.
But you can't take words out of her mouth. She said, I shall be whole. And you are saying she must be equating healing to wholeness. They are
I'm
two
not
different.
assuming, but what if when she
No,
touched
what we're
Jesus,
saying is we're not
Jesus,
assuming.
No, there is no reason to assume anything here when the text is clear about that.
okay, Pastor
Because
Kwan, what if after she
let
touched?
me
What
land.
if after she
Let me
touched?
land. Let me land. Let me land.
Okay.
You see, you are dealing with a writing. The author has purposefully put some text on paper explicitly. So you go with what the author has said without adding your own thing to it, unless what you add to it backs up what the author has said.
Pastor Kwan, I'm not taking anything from there, but what I'm saying, okay, assuming that when she touched Jesus, she felt all this fountain stopped and she felt healed. What if Jesus did not turn and say, woman, your faith has made you whole? Because
Then
after she touched Jesus, she still experienced some healing or some breakthrough. So to
but
her,
then
that was
but
even
listen
enough.
carefully. Don't go too far. But then that will mean her thinking, and for which she made that resolution, was based on faulty information. That is what you have to understand. She said something But what she said she was expecting was not what she got. But she ultimately got what she wanted. So what happened to force her to move from where she was to where she needed to be? Because her own statement, we are going by what she declared. We are not putting words in her mouth. She said, I shall, authoritative language, I shall be whole. And then she did what she said she was going to do. She received healing. Is healing the same as wholeness? And no.
But what did she mean when she said, I'll be made whole? What did she mean? We don't know.
Don't forget, that's why when we're dealing with we said this is a problem and solution type of writing. We took the trouble to spell out the problems involved. Because this woman, she had a plague. She had had it for 12 years. She has spent all her money going to doctors. She hadn't received any improvement in her condition. She rather was experiencing the worst. And she has spent all her money. Are you getting the picture? So it is possible
I am getting, but what I'm saying is that it's like, okay, there is your exam says that 10 questions to pass an exam. I mean 10 questions. Passing mark is 80. Once you get 80 and you know you've got 8 out of 10 and you know they are all right, you can decide to stop. I'm not going anymore to get 9 or 10, excellent 10. I can stop at 8. So once you said, okay, my fountain is, let me also finish. Once my fountain is dried and I feel whole, that is wholeness for me. Maybe what she got from Jesus was a bonus. Now let's go to, let me just bring an outside information. When the 10 lepers, I'll stop talking. Let me finish and I'll stop talking for the next hour.
Let me stop you before you muddy the waters too much.
I'm not muddy. Just okay. Let me just finish. Okay, otherwise I'm not speaking anymore. I'm not talking anymore. Okay, I'm done.
Dr. Boyson, supposing out of the 10 questions, yes, the passing mark is 80. But you have told yourself that me, I am getting an A+. That is what you shoot for. And then you get 80, that is a B. Is B what you shot for? You said, I am getting an A+ and you get a B. B, you've still passed. But is that what you aimed at? Are you getting what I'm saying? Dr. Boyson?
I'm not talking. I'm just listening.
No. we are trying to make sense of something.
I'm trying to make sense of something. You wouldn't let me make that sense.
No, because you are going to muddy the waters, and we have this issue to deal with.
You are assuming for me. You don't know what I'm going to muddy. You are assuming for me.
Okay. Gabo, are you there?
Yeah.
Don't be too quiet. Gabo, if you are going to take a test and you know the pass mark is 80%, right? But you have told yourself that I will get an A+, which means I'll get between 92% and 100%. That is A+, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then your test papers are returned to you. You still passed, but you got 80. Would you have met your goal?
At least I passed.
No, you did. It's not a question. You said you will get an A+. But when the test papers came, you got 80%, which is a B. Is B the same as A+?
Pastor, I can't understand. You are trying to extrapolate the thing. What it is that
I
this
am
woman
not.
said, if I touch this man, I'll be made whole. In her mind, she's been bleeding for 12 years. My wholeness is that this bleeding will stop, I will be healed. If Jesus hadn't even said you'll be made whole, she didn't even know about it. She
Dr.
meant,
Boyce,
okay, I'll be made whole. But in her
Dr. Boyce,
mind, wholeness meant that her blood will
Doc-
stop oozing and she'll be healed.
Dr. Boyce, Dr. Boyce, what is the goal of this platform? It's not, we are trying to cultivate mental sophistication. So it's not just about, glossing over things. We took the trouble to spell out the problems involved, right? Because, as I said, if she had spent all her money on doctors, then what to eat will be a problem. Where to lay her head will be a problem. So even when she receives healing, the healing of the healing and the blood stopping, right? That will take care of the physical disease, but the effects of the physical diseases will be there. One of them is she wouldn't have the means to buy food because she
But
has spent
what Dr. Boyce is saying that when she took care of the physical took care of the other side of the thing.
No, it
Because
She
didn't.
wasn't going to go to hospital and
She
spend
doesn't
money
pay
anymore.
anymore.
No. The
So she
physical.
was made whole.
No. Listen, the
The
physical healing.
virtue
No.
that came out of Jesus. I mean, we are not.
No,
I'm not being
listen,
arrogant. We are
listen
not being arrogant. We are saying that we are not being arrogant. We are saying that the virtue that came out of Jesus made her whole.
Was enough.
Made her whole.
No.
Pastor
Listen
Kon, the
carefully.
wholeness Jesus declared added some other bonus. That's why I wanted to give you an
No.
example, but you wouldn't let me.
Listen.
Let me give this example. Let me give
Okay.
an example.
Okay.
The 10 lepers that went to Jesus to be healed,
Mhm.
all 10 of them went to the pastor or whatever, priest or whatever, to be healed. Only one person returned to Jesus to say thanks, and Jesus said, "Okay, I think he declared wholeness on this guy."
Thank you.
Does it mean the 9 other people
They
did not
were
receive them?
healed. No,
They
they
were
were
healed.
healed, but they didn't receive wholeness. And that's why I want you to understand that Mark and whoever wrote that, I think, look, we're trying to put something in our plate that there is a difference between wholeness and healing.
But all I'm trying to say, I'm not disputing you, I'm not disputing Mark, or I'm not disputing Jesus. All I'm saying that in this woman's mind, I've been bleeding for 12 years. My money is gone. I'm not bankrupt. But if I meet this man, if I touch the garment of his tip of his garment, all this bleeding, everything will cease. She wasn't even thinking about. I mean, of
No,
course, she's
don't
not going to
say
go
she
to the
wasn't.
hospital
No.
and spend extra money. The thing was that
Don't
blood
say.
ceases.
Don't say she wasn't thinking about money. Because again,
The
when
money, because she was going to hospital every time to spend that money.
But when the Mark tells you that she has spent all she had, don't forget that. She had spent all she had. So even if she receives her healing, now, okay, I'm free. I am healed of that physical problem. But what would I eat?
Okay, let's assume that when Jesus said you are whole, he put money in the lady's bank account.
That's why you have to understand that when Jesus pronounces wholeness, it involves every aspect of that woman. And that's what Mark is trying to tell us. There are things that physical defect had brought into being. Being healed of that physical defect will not undo the other things it had brought into being. With wholeness, the physical defect as well as the things it had brought in its way will be taken care of. And that is why Jesus even had to adopt the woman. Because don't forget, when we read Leviticus, we realized that this woman had become an outcast. and she was only described as a woman, no serious identity. When Jesus said daughter, that was adoption. Are you getting me? And with
I get you.
adoption,
All I'm saying is that I believe the woman's expectation was met.
because
Her
we are going to
expectation
come
was
back.
met.
We are going to come back to this next week. When Jesus said daughter, Jesus became the father of this woman. What is the responsibility of a father? Are you not getting what the dimension? The responsibility of a father is to feed the child, take care of the child's needs. And so a lot is riding on this. Are you getting me? And so when you just settle, you say, oh, the woman was just looking for the blood to cease. That was only one aspect of the problems.
No, all I'm saying is that her expectation was met. Jesus gave her
But her
additional
expectation
blessings.
was not met.
It was met.
It
Jesus
was
gave her
not met.
additional blessing and gifts
It
that she
was
hadn't
not
even looked
met.
forward to.
No,
Her
Dr.
wholeness was to
No,
have
no,
a blood issue stopped and healed.
No, Dr. Boyson. Wholeness and healing are not necessarily synonymous. And I want you to get that. With wholeness, you get healing as part of it. But you getting healing does not guarantee a wholeness. But if you get wholeness, healing becomes part of it. And so I want you to appreciate the way Mark has presented this test. And it is for us to learn that, oh, okay, this woman, resolute as she was, she didn't really get the full picture. She thought by touching, she will get her wholeness, and that's about it. It turns out, no. Just touching will get you something, but it doesn't get you wholeness. Wholeness comes when Jesus actually pronounces it.
I mean, it's true. I mean, I agree with you. But all I'm saying that in verse 29, this woman's expectation was met as far as she is aware, or
With
she was thinking
respect to
about.
healing,
Jesus added more. She didn't know wholeness meant that. I mean, Jesus added the wholeness. But from 29, she received what she was looking forward to, and she got it.
No, again, don't forget, when she said wholeness and she received healing, she didn't get what she was looking for. Just don't, she got something, but not what she had asked for. She got healing. She said wholeness. It's as simple as that.
Okay,
So
let's move on.
we are thinking, okay, she wanted that blood to stop. But when she said wholeness, she was expecting more than the blood stopping. Healing only took care of the blood stopping, but it didn't help her with what to eat. It didn't help her with the social rejection. It didn't help her with the money she had given out. The emotional ruin she had experienced. The healing didn't take care of that. Are you getting me? And so we have to understand where Mark was going with this. And when you get the picture that when Jesus pronounced the healing, didn't charge her a dime, adopted her, told her to go in peace. A lot of things are there. A lot of things are there. Are you getting the picture clear? And so we must be able to go along and argue the typical, technical term to use is explicate the test based on the facts given. And one of the facts is that the woman said, I'm looking for wholeness. And she received healing. Unless you are willing to make the claim that healing is synonymous with wholeness, then she would have received what she asked for, though using different words. But if you are not ready to make the case or make the claim that wholeness and healing are synonymous, then please, she didn't receive what she said she was looking for. Amen.
Amen.
Winnie, any question? Dr. Boyson?
No question.
Gabo,
Someone.
do you have any question?
No, no thanks. No thanks.
Okay. Okay. Gabo, please say that. Last week you said a prayer. No, Gabo, say the final prayer for us.
Father, we thank you for our word study. Thank you for our pastor, Pastor Krong. Thank you for all the wisdom and everything you've been giving him to come to give to us. Father, we pray that you open our eyes of understanding, that we might behold wondrous things as we study every day, as we intellectually go into your word. Help us to understand more